The music video of Casey, Young Fun Dumb, was definitely the shoot I learnt the most on, and that's probably because I solely directed it. Now, this shoot was my first solely directing shoot, if you want to call it that. I've come from shooting everything myself, literally producing, shooting, color grading, editing, literally everything. I've almost been a one-man band. And this project in particular, I was solely directing. So I had a whole crew, I had a whole team with me, I had a DOP, a producer, runners, camera assistants, everything. This was an entirely new experience for me. And with new experiences, you're gonna have some lessons learned. The first lesson for me, which might seem like a super simple one, but communication is key. I'm pretty much the only person on the shoot that has the idea in stone in their head. Obviously, other people know what's going on, but I'm kind of the only one that has every single shot memorized in my head and know exactly how the video is going to go. So if anyone has any questions about the idea or the shoot, I'm that person to come to, essentially. And I guess the lesson I learned from communicating with people was how clear I needed to be and how precise I needed to be about the idea. I think on some occasions, I was like speaking really quickly, or like, obviously because I was passionate about the project, but I think I just needed to slow down a little bit and be really precise and clear about what I was saying. I think trying to explain your idea to a room full of 30 people at the top of your voice is harder than I thought it was going to be. That being said, I'm pretty proud of how I conducted myself throughout the shoot and the communication I gave. But there was definitely small elements where I feel like I could have been slightly more clearer and precise about what I was saying, and just slower in general, because I can just blabber. So that's definitely a key lesson for me that I have taken away from doing that shoot. I can't be too harsh about it because I've never really done any public speaking before. So me standing on a stage and talking to a room full of 30 people that they're just looking at you and you feel like you're just absolutely blabbering and talking nonsense is very daunting. I actually really loved it and I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't want to be a director if I couldn't do something like that. Do you know what I mean? Now, the next one would be managing my time effectively. Now, I'm actually someone who's really good with time. I'm not late to anything. I'm very punctual. The shoot itself was pretty much on time. It was delayed a little bit because of the prom guys getting there. They were just slightly later, so that means the shoot time got pushed back a little bit. But we did finish on time with like 45 minutes to spare, so that's amazing for like a 7 to, I think it was a 9-hour shoot day. I think it was 9 hours, yeah. And we got everything we wanted to get, so that was amazing. But what I mean by managing time is managing my own time, like me personally. So I found myself moving lights, moving chairs, setting up things, when in reality, I shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I feel like a prick saying that because all I'm used to is being hands-on and helping and doing everything myself on all the other shoots I've done. So having to delegate that to other people was a little bit different for me. And I definitely feel like it's something I need to improve on, is delegating tasks to other people, to the runners and the camera assistants. So I'm not directly doing all of that. But I think as a director, the main focus should be on bringing the vision to life and making sure what's shot is what you want to be shot, instead of worrying about external factors like moving lights and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I should have delegated that to other crew members and runners. And I guess that comes into communication as well, because that's something I could have communicated to them to do, instead of me taking up my brain power and time, instead of focusing on what's being shot and what's next and all that kind of thing. And this leads into the next one quite nicely is, again, I can't be too hard on myself on this because the amount of people that are there on the shoot day, but is learning everyone's names. It come to a point where I feel like I should have introduced myself better to a lot of, or some of the crew members. Again, difficult to say because there's so many people and there's so many external factors that you're worrying about actually like shooting, but that's definitely something I want to improve on in the future, is just learning everyone's names the best I can. And then that makes the communication better because then I can actually call people their name instead of runners or anything like that, which is super disrespectful to them. And it's definitely something I want to do differently next time, because it's such a small thing, but it makes such a big difference to you as a person. And it's just way more respectful. Again, I can't be too hard on myself because the amount of people that are there, but it's definitely something I want to improve on 100%. This next one isn't anyone's fault or a criticism of anyone. It's just that in the future, I want to make sure that all crew members are there for a location scout, more specifically the DOP. Now, that is such an obvious thing to say, and that should have happened anyway, but logistically, we couldn't get the DOP there for the day we were on the location scout of the actual haul. I just think that would negate so much time at the start of the actual shoot day, because me and Manny spent a lot of time at the start of the shoot just trying to get our heads around where the lights were and trying to get Manny immersed in the space and make him understand where lights are going to go, so he can understand, okay, this needs to be lit, this needs to have neg fill, etc., etc., etc. Something a DOP would normally do. It's definitely something I want to make sure we do in the future, because it would negate a lot of that start time at the shoot where me and Manny were kind of discussing where lights need to go and all that kind of thing. Again, a pretty obvious one, but it's a big lesson, and it would save time at the start of the shoot explaining all that kind of thing. We can just turn up and we know exactly what's going on, and we can put our energy into something else, and focus on the story and the actors and the energy we want to get across in the video. Again, no one's fault. It's just I learned that it's such a big and important part of the process of making this be as successful as it can be. Now, this is probably the biggest lesson I learned, and something that I will take in a personal note and try and improve in the future, is not letting my ideas slip. Now, what I mean by that is there was occasions on the shoot where I didn't necessarily stick to my guns and was strict about the shot I wanted to get, or I had such a specific idea in my head about a scene I wanted to get and the shots I wanted to get and how that scene was going to flow. But because we shot that scene slightly later in the day, I suppose fatigue kicked in for a lot of the crew members, myself included, even though I was trying to keep myself high-spirited. We kind of slacked on a couple of the shots, which I wish we hadn't, because it's like the second scene in the video. So I kind of wish that we kind of just rallied together and got the shots that I saw in my head. Because I did kind of like let it slip in terms of like, I just compromised to going, oh yeah, okay, that'll be fine. When it wasn't, it's not how I saw it in my head. I should stick to my guns a little bit better and be slightly stricter, because then I've lived with this idea for like 4 months in the planning process. Like, and then just on the day of shooting, you kind of just compromise on what you want. I shouldn't be doing that, and that's no one else's fault. I'm not blaming anyone else for that. That's solely me. No one else is in control of my mouth and can say what my brain's thinking. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to just be a slightly stricter on and just stick to my guns a bit better for the next one. Considering this project was my first one solely directing a music video, I'm so happy with how it went. It was such an incredible experience with such an amazing crew. They all put 110% in, and I can't ask for more than that. They all seemed to have a really great day, which is good. The morale was high all day, which wasn't always the case on shoots. So with all of that into account, there's so many successes about it. We pulled off a mammoth of a task, and I got to owe a lot to Jeff, who is Kieran or Casey's manager. He pulled so many strings for this shoot, and I'm super proud with what we made, with what we had on offer as well. A truly amazing experience, and saying it's a wrap at the end of the shoot to a room full of 30 people and the energy just be crazy is something that I'll hold to me for a very long time. It was my first one, and I'm so excited to get into the next one and yeah, start this exciting journey, because this is what I want to do. I do just want to direct music videos and commercials mainly. This is what I want to do. I just want to direct and edit, essentially. I don't want to necessarily shoot the project or do the lighting. Obviously, I have a good understanding of lighting and how that all works for stuff that I do on my own and the other promotional videos I do on the side that I don't really talk about. And I guess no one does, because it's not the pretty glamorous video that everyone wants to see on Instagram. It's the stuff that actually earns you money. But directing music videos is definitely something that is my career path and what I want to really get my teeth into. And this is the first one, my debut. Actually, as a little update, since I shot that music video, I've shot 5 since, and each one you could say is my best work. I'm in a really cool creative space right now where I feel like each music video I do does just get better and better, and I'm learning more and more at each shoot. And I can't wait to share more on this channel and kind of maybe pivot this channel into being a music video director and like how-tos and my experiences to potentially help any of you guys. And like I've said from the start, for this channel to be a journal and a collation of my life experiences as I grow as a filmmaker and director. Hopefully you're all good. Let me know what projects you're doing in the comments below, and I will see you soon.